Yes! Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am Amanda. Today I am going to give finally my review for Hamilton the Musical. So first of all, when I bought these tickets, I was under the impression that Karen Olivo was going to be playing Angelica for the entire run. I was so damn wrong. Evidently, she just opened the show. She wasn't staying for the full run, and she left, I'm assuming, before she went to do chess at the Kennedy Center. Regardless, the show was still really good. I'm gonna be real, I was expecting something a little bit different. Most of the musicals that I have gone to see have dialogue between the numbers. It's not solely the music or the score, if you would. It's kind of, I don't know, you know, Grease style, Rent style, where there's dialogue in between the songs. For Hamilton, this is not the case. The show's about 3 hours long, so I am assuming that this production is exactly the same as the one that ran on Broadway, where it is just the music. I think there's one or two lines of dialogue. It's when Eliza is it's when Eliza is telling Alexander that John Laurens has died. But other than that, it was basically just the soundtrack. I mean, it was literally the soundtrack from beginning to end. And you know, I don't regret going. I mean, I guess a lot of people could say, well, you kind of wasted your money in a sense because you've had the same experience in the car listening to the soundtrack. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I wasn't really getting anything new than I already had heard. However, I didn't get the blocking with the soundtrack, you know, in the car. It's just me in the car listening to it and, you know, singing. I didn't get the experience of the blocking, and the blocking of this show was amazing. They had this like turntable, rotating stage, if you would. It wasn't really, the whole stage wasn't rotating. It was just it was a turntable in the very center. Two turntables actually, one in the center and then one surrounding that first one. That they just used very, very wisely for the telling of the story. And you know, I mean, if you listen to the soundtrack, you have basically heard the entire show. The story is told from beginning to end. But the blocking really made a world of difference. I mean, it gave me a new experience. The actors. The actors were great. Some of the lines, some of the lyrics were, in my opinion, a little bit too over the top, just as far as their delivery. But the actors were really great. The vocals were amazing. Angelica ended up being played by Montego Glover, and she was great. She had beautiful, beautiful vocals. Eliza was played by Brittany Campbell. Again, she had great vocals. And one of the songs that she sings, Burn, it's actually, I'm almost positive it's her only solo, was a little underwhelming, but she did hit all of the notes. She did sound nice. Just as far as the emotion, it was a little underwhelming. Towards the end, the very beginning of it was very well done. You know, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I have maybe an unfair bias towards the original cast. I would like to believe that I do not. Here comes the mail lady. I would like to believe that I do not have an unfair bias. I went into this show knowing that it was not going to sound the way the soundtrack sounds because A, it's not the same cast, and B, it's a live performance. Live performances, oh, that's a male man. Oops. Live performances, you know, are gonna be different than a recording. It's just gonna be different. No matter if it's the same cast or a different cast, it's going to be a different experience. So I would like to think that I wasn't biased going into it as far as comparing this cast to what you hear on the soundtrack. I really don't think that I was. I think that this is, I mean, as objective as I can be, because I do love, you know, the cast recording. I listen to it all the time in the car. Right now, no. Right now, I'm listening to In the Heights. The actor that played King George, Andrew Call, was hilarious. I mean, absolutely hilarious. Again, the blocking really makes a difference because during The Addams administration, it's right after King George's final song, and he actually takes a chair and sits on the stage watching the next number, the Addams administration, watching it all go down. And his expressions were amazing. I mean, this guy's comedic timing was spot on. He didn't, you know, he didn't overact. He didn't, he was over the top, but in the way that he needed to be to sell that character. And I really appreciated that. So I enjoyed him very, very much. Colby Lewis as well, who played Thomas Jefferson / Lafayette, was great. He was fantastic. Actually, the guy that played Lawrence was great too. Jose Ramos, he was amazing. They were great, and they played off of each other very, very well. Again, the comedic timing with Jefferson and Addams was, that's a very, you know, those two roles have to play off of each other a certain way, I feel, for it to work, and they made it work. They made it work beautifully. And I actually really love that I didn't get a replica of the cast recording. Nothing really turns me off more to a production when you see someone on stage trying to channel, you know, another performer or emulate or mimic another performer. So, for example, if Miguel Cervantes, who played Alexander Hamilton, had tried to play Alexander Hamilton as Lin-Manuel Miranda, if that makes sense, I would not have dug it at all. And you know, you can pretty much see right through that. You can see when someone is trying to perform a role the way someone else would, as opposed to bringing themselves to the table. So I very much appreciated that this brigade of actors, this cast, created, you know, their own version of this show. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I got a bunch of goodies. I got a playbill. I actually collected a bunch of playbills because as we were walking out, that's kind of a known thing. People just kind of toss their playbills to the side, so I was picking them up off the floor. And we also got a couple of Hamilton cups. These actually, I don't know if I would say free. No, you know what? I am gonna say free. These came free if you bought a soda. The soda came in this, and duh, we kept it. Full disclosure, I actually poured some beer into this and drank on the way home. Don't worry, I was not driving. But anyway, that is going to wrap up my review. I really can't say anything else other than it was amazing. This cast was great. I would recommend this show to anyone who is in the Chicago area. I know that they do, it's a relatively small theater too, so I don't think there's a bad seat in the house. Even the really high seats are, you have great visibility. You may be far away, but you have great visibility. It is at the CIBC Theater in Chicago. It was great, fantastic. I would probably go and see it again if, you know, the tickets were not as expensive. But there's a lottery pool that you can do. I'm not sure if they do this in Chicago, but they do like same day sales for anyone who has either canceled their ticket or returned a ticket. You know, you can go a few hours before the show and pick up a ticket for like 10 bucks. Again, I don't know if they do this in Chicago. I know they do a lottery in Chicago, you know, where you can basically just stand in line and, you know, if you're called, then you get a ticket. A friend of my husband's did that and ended up in like the first row mezzanine or something like that, which is like the ideal place to sit. Orchestra is too close. I don't need to see anybody's nose hairs. I just need to be able to see without a super tall person in front of me. The mezzanine is dead on with the stage. You don't have to look down. You don't have to tilt, you know, look up. It's just dead on eye level, so you can just sit there and, you know, like you're watching TV at home, only everything is alive and there. That's all I got for you today, kids. That was my review on Hamilton the musical. It was fabulous. We did not do stage door, A, because it was freezing and raining, and B, because we did not know. I'm pretty sure that the stage door was possibly on the other side of the building, which would mean that we would have either had to go through a very sketchy looking alley, or we would have had to go around the entire block. I was a little tipsy and I was not prepared for either. And it was slightly rain. I think it was actually snowing. It was snowing. So, you know, that's okay. That's okay. Next time, it's fine. I think the next time we go to a show in Chicago, I'm gonna try to get to one in the summertime. Do they do new musicals in the summertime? I don't even know. Quick announcement, I am going to be making a little bit of a change to my posting schedule. This might not surprise you guys. I am going to, instead of posting every Wednesday and Friday, I am just going to be posting on Wednesdays from now on. I don't think it'll be permanent. I think it'll just be for a little while I'm editing The Eldest Witch. While I'm editing The Eldest Witch, and I'm also working on a different manuscript. So I think for now, I'm just going to just post on Wednesdays, and then that way you guys get consistently every week, as opposed to, you know, possibly waiting for a video on Friday and nothing comes up. Real life has just gotten rather busy, and instead of going against it, I am going to lean into it, and I'm gonna take something off of my plate, and that would be posting on Fridays. I don't want to not post at all because I actually really love doing these videos and talking to you guys. So I'm just gonna be posting Wednesdays from now until the foreseeable future. And yeah, that's it. That was the announcement. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button, ding that little bell. That way you get notifications every time I post a new video. Be sure to follow me on social media if you are not already. Links are listed below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.